Um,
Yes.
see. So is state of being essential when it comes to the idea of passing through the eye of the needle? And is it really important to stay strong and positive and relax and just know that you're going to pass through it? Or
Yes, absolutely. As we have said, state of being is everything in the sense of what allows you to experience what you're experiencing in a way that you prefer to. But it's not about having to stay strong as if that's supposed to be an effort that you have to make. It's about understanding how things work and allowing yourself to go with your true flow. Follow the formula. And then when you do that, you will know, if you understand how things work, you will know that no matter what's happening, you'll be okay. It's not about a struggle to stay strong. It's not an effort. It's an actual letting go because you know, again, understanding, you know that surrender is not giving up control. Surrender is surrendering to the control that's already built into your flow and knowing that your flow already knows where you need to go. That's most representative of your true self. Therefore, it's not something you have to struggle to maintain as a state of being. It's something you simply relax into as a state of being that is more natural for you, knowing that it will take you exactly through the eye of the needle in exactly the right way for you and allow you to wind up on the shore you belong on.
okay, here's kind of a cute synchronicity. Last month, my cat Moonshadow swallowed my sewing needle with thread attached. In 2 to 3 days, it passed through his system, and Moonshadow was unscathed. Is there any relationship between this incident and the 2020 Eye of the Needle?
Cats are so brilliant as reflections of higher dimensional knowledge, higher dimensional awareness, because that is a perfect reflection of the understanding that you, in a sense, are not really going through the eye of the needle. The eye of the needle is going through you.
Ooh.
And if you remain in the state of being similar to the idea of how a cat relaxes in its understanding and perception of other dimensional realities and sees more of reality than most of you do, you can allow that passage to happen and come out, as you say, unscathed.
That was beautiful. Um, these are some questions that have to do with manifestation and the
Yes,
formula.
yes.
Okay, so you advise us to allow rather than resist. At the same
Yes.
time, you state that action is the language of physical reality.
Yes.
So, what if I'm unhappy with a situation? I feel the urge to change it, and which may mean I'm resisting and I'm not cooperating or counteracting something.
All right. Misunderstanding of how the word resist is being used by us. Because the idea we are saying is that don't resist means don't resist yourself. We're not talking about the idea that physical actions may appear to others to be a resistance to something you don't prefer. That's not what we're talking about. We're saying don't resist your natural energy. If your true passion energy and the action that goes along with it is to make a statement physically that might appear to others to be resistant to something that's vibrationally incompatible with you, it's not the kind of resistance we're talking about when we say don't resist. We're talking about not resisting your own true energy.
And even when you, in a sense, surrender
Yes.
to yourself,
Yes.
you don't experience that as a negative or a disempowering
No.
experience. You
No. And you don't experience the physical act, really, from your point of view, as an actual physical resistance. You will experience the idea of standing up for what you believe to be true in a more positive way. It may not even be experienced as resistance from the other side, if there is another side. So the idea is that when you elevate your frequency, you find more creative ways, more positive ways to express the actions that you take that are in alignment with your true energy. And it won't even necessarily appear to be resistance in the classical sense physically. It may be a more creative expression, a more loving expression. It may come out in a very different way because you're on a level, a vibrational level, where you can be inspired by other ways to express yourself that are not necessarily going to look like the classic ways of resistance. Because that, again, is something that is expending an effort and pushing against something instead of engaging with something in a way that invites them to go with their own flow creatively. It's not a pushing against, it's not a rebelling against. That happens when you're truly in your flow and acting on your passion. You find other ways, other avenues, and other paths by which to express the idea of your truth in contrast to something that is not your truth, that actually expresses itself in a more powerful, positive way. We once gave the idea, we once told the story of the idea of a bank robber and the bank teller, and how the idea of the bank robber coming in was in a sense diffused by the bank teller by really communicating with the robber that she actually truly cared about and was concerned about what would happen in his life if he went through the act. And so instead of resisting him, she engaged him in a way that convinced him that she truly cared about what happened to him. And therefore, because she was expressing her passion of her care and concern for him, he actually gave up robbing the bank. So the idea is that there are other paths, many other paths that might be invisible to you if you think along the classical lines of resistance, as opposed to understanding that new ways of doing things will actually come out in the physical action because you'll be on a different wavelength and capable of understanding how to act differently and in a way that might engage what might seem to be the other side instead of in a physical resistance, in a physical engagement that allows them to know that they can also choose another path that is also in their best interests, rather than themselves also believing in the idea that they have to resist and force to get what they need in life.
So, in the process of manifesting, what intensity of high energy do we have to get to in order to manifest? And how long do we have to focus and...
No. Nothing more than what you're already doing. Remember, you're already manifesting. You're manifesting so easily you don't even know you're doing it. It's not about just manifesting what you want. You're already manifesting. So it's not about how long do I have to focus or how strong does it have to be. You're already manifesting. If you weren't, you wouldn't have a physical reality experience. So the question is not being asked in the way that understands what manifestation is. The idea of manifestation is to understand that everything you need in life, everything that will fulfill you, everything that will be representative of your ability to express your joy is already here. All you have to do is match the frequency. In the same way, in exactly the same way, to the same degree, the same level of energy that you're doing it right now with what you do manifest. It's just a matter of shifting the frequency to be more coherent and harmonious with other things that are already here other than what you're perceiving. Because it's not about manifesting something as if it doesn't already exist. It's about matching the vibration of something that's already here to allow it to become visible and tangible to you. So you don't need any more power, any more strength, any more duration, any more focus than you already have, because you're already manifesting effortlessly every second. Just change your frequency at the same level to be more of a match to the manifestations that are more compatible with who you truly are. This is another reason why we give you the formula. All you have to do is use the formula to adjust your frequency, and you will automatically mask what is germane to that particular frequency. You will already match it, and then it will manifest. But again, remember, it's not about what you want in the egotistical sense. It's about what you need. And what you need will always fulfill you. Always. What you want may not.
Hello, Bashar. What is the spiritual purpose of physical beauty? By physical beauty meaning not only the looks, but also the scent, the voice, the charm, the intelligence, the inner world, What do we gain, spiritually speaking, from being drawn to beauty the way a lot of us are?
Well, you are being drawn to the concept of balance. Some people will reflect it in certain ways, and they don't necessarily have to be physiologically beautiful to express the idea of some form of beauty. But the idea is that you're being drawn to the balance between the polarities. You're being drawn to the third point, the Trinity point, that allows you to experience within yourself the potential of the balance that you contain. Good day. Good day.
Good day, Bashar. It's so exciting to be here with you today.
As it is for us as well to be with you.
Thank you. I have a couple areas I'd like to explore with you. The first is the topic of the information you shared with us. I've been enjoying the information you've been sharing for a while. It's so clear and creative and
all right,
experiential. And I'm just curious how these materials are developed and what are the theories behind the event structure and the way information is shared with us.
Well, again, the idea is that these are not theories for us. These are simple observations of the nature and structure of existence, and we're simply passing them along to you in whatever form the translation needs to occur to make sense in your language and in your consciousness. So we're simply sharing what we observe in terms of how existence functions, how it works. That's why we're able to distill it down into the idea of the formula, following your passion to the best you can, no insistence or assumption on the outcome, staying in a positive state no matter what happens so you can derive the benefit from it. These are the ways these concepts translate in your language, in your reality, to take advantage of the nature and structure of existence that we're describing to you. Does this make sense?
It does. So basically, if a human wanted to do as an effective a job as you do with others, we would just try and tap into those understandings ourselves when sharing information with others.
Yes, and that's why we give you the formula, because it allows you to do that. Because in other words, as you act on your passion, what happens? You raise your vibration. As you raise your vibrational frequency of energy and expand your consciousness, what happens? You tap into higher frequency realms of information and inspiration and access the same kind of information. So that's also included in the structure. It's self-guiding, it's self-expanding. Just by doing it, just by following the instruction manual and following the formula, it not only allows you to experience your own personal life in a more accelerated and streamlined way, it actually gives you more ability to tap into other levels of information, knowledge, energy, so on and so forth, to be able to also then share similar perspectives with other people as well, because it makes you a more receptive antenna for those higher frequency bits of information in the same way that we tap into it.
Amazing.
Remember, you can't experience what you're not the vibration of first. This is just physics. What you put out is what you get back. So by following the formula, it raises your frequency and allows you to access more information on a broader spectrum.
Okay. And so, it's the other topic I wanted to explore with you, I wanted some guidance on. I've noticed a lot of changes in the world, like a lot of construction, a lot of things shifting.
Yes.
I've been a part of an institution for a long time that there's been a lot of friction there that I've experienced, but I also see an opportunity for helping to shift that structure from within. But the thing that I'm trying to understand and wrap my head around is when is it important to stand our ground? When is it important to resist? Is that ever necessary? When is it important to expose certain structures? Like right now, it seems like exposing certain things might be beneficial. But
it depends on what it is and how you go about it. If you think it's necessary and truly important, it's truly in alignment with your true self, your real self, that certain information be revealed in certain ways that you believe would be to everyone's benefit, that's fine. But you have to have a really strong sense of discernment to know whether that's really necessary or whether you simply need to not resist, but move on to something else that is more representative, or even create something else yourself that's more representative of the kind of environment that you prefer.
That's how would you suggest that someone develop discernment around that? Like, what are some good ways to really tap into that?
All right. Well, again, this requires a great degree of self-awareness and honesty within your own investigation of the reasons, your motivations for why you choose to behave or do what it is you choose to behave or do. So you have to really dig down deep and ask yourself at any moment when you think that some particular action might be required, why do I think that? Why do I feel that? What is my motivation for thinking I have to do it this way as opposed to another way? Am I truly in alignment with harmony in doing it the way I thought I needed to do it? Or am I simply allowing myself to believe that I have to control the situation? Is this coming from a fear-based belief? Is this coming from a love-based belief? What am I actually doing, and why am I choosing to do it this way, or even considering doing it this way? Is this the best way? Is this the path of least resistance? Is this truly me? Or is there something else I would rather be doing in a different way? That's why we say it's so important to just stay in the moment when these things come up, when these questions arise. Just stay in the moment and take the time to examine yourself with great honesty and great transparency about your motivations for why you think you need to do something in the way you think you need to do it, because sometimes it will reveal to you that there might be another way that is truly more you, and that the way you've been thinking of doing it is really just another expression of a fear-based belief because you think that something will go wrong if you don't do it this way or what have you. So it takes great honesty in your self-evaluation to know the difference in your discernment.
Okay, thank you, Bashar. That's very helpful.
All right.
Yeah, and a great gratitude to you and everyone that's a part of this transmission today and everyone who isn't. So blessings, and I thank you.
We thank you as well. Good day.
Good day, Bashar. It's been a pleasure knowing you. I'm Ryohei from Osaka, Japan. So, 2 months ago, I had a lucid dream about 2 UFOs, glowing purple light, hovering about 200 feet right above me, lying on my bed. My body was floating in midair, as if I was getting sucked into one of them while having a sleep paralysis. Recently, I haven't had any dreams about UFOs. So my question is, how can I utilize my Esasani contact crystal to increase the probability of dreaming about UFOs? Love you, Bashar. Sayonara.
When you go to sleep, as you're falling off to sleep, ask for more conscious, lucid awareness of your interactions with other beings. It will eventually be given to you. You will eventually take it. The idea is to not be afraid to have that awareness, not be afraid to have those experiences, and ask for those experiences on your own terms in ways that will work for you. You are entitled to do this. You're entitled to be an equal participant consciously in any interactions with extraterrestrial beings, no matter what their particular take may be. So the more you ask for awareness and the less you are afraid of having that awareness of what's going on those other levels, the more you will have conscious participation in what's happening.
Hi, Bashar.
Anna, you good day.
Good day. I have a question on our consensus agreements here in this reality. And as we evolve as a species, individually and collectively, and we invite our future selves in to come in to integrate within this original consensus agreement, does that change or expand our agreements collectively and individually? And if so, how does that work? And
all right,
as far as our next step?
All right, well, the short answer is yes. But the idea is to remember that you're creating yourself to shift to different realities, and different realities, different parallel versions of Earth that you're shifting through have their own completely different consensus. So you're not changing the consensus of one world, you're simply shifting to another world that has a completely different collective consensus.
So once, as this evolution continues with us, how do you incorporate that in your thinking model? And, like what's really the
How it's incorporated is by the synchronicity that shows you now what is more and more possible for you in that new reality that has a different consensus. In other words, it will become more apparent and more obvious through synchronicity that different things are now available to you than used to be available to you to act on, that is more in alignment with who you are.
Yes, I've experienced that. So I was just wondering how that just continues to evolve us. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. As you shift and go through different versions of Earth with different consensus realities, it becomes more and more apparent what it is that aligns with you as an individual and gives you more opportunities to express your individuality within the context of the new consensus.
So that's already open to and available to us. It's just a matter of our acting on our excitement and moving forward in that direction.
Just a matter of following the formula, as we constantly are reminding all of you. The formula is designed to let you know that nothing is left out that's relevant for you to experience in your path in life. So yes, of course it's available to you, because why would that ability be left out of the formula?
Clarification is very important for me. Thank you so much on that. I really appreciate that clarification.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Yesterday, there was an agreement that came in from the Eastern Bloc, and I know you'd spoken about look to the Eastern Bloc for economic changes, and there was a peace agreement that had been made. Is this what we're looking for in that direction?
It's a piece. It's not the only thing, but it's a piece. It's a start.
So all the energy that was going toward that, this worked out to an agreement so far.
Again, remember, nothing changed in the original reality. You shifted to a reality in which that already existed.
Okay, thank you. Got it. Got it.
Yes?
I'm looking at the 15 sacred circuits that you had presented some time ago, and
Yes.
working with those as alive beings. Is that what I was understanding?
Everything is an aspect of consciousness.
Yes. Yes.
So in a sense, they're alive.
And they're part of our fundamental nature here in this reality. Is that correct?
Well, they're representative of certain aspects of the underlying template of physical reality, but they're also specifically representative of certain circuitry arrangements in your brain and in your neurological network. That's why we have shared them with you as a kind of meditative tool to allow you, in each representation of each circuit, to rewire your brains that make you a better receiver, a better antenna for higher frequency information and energy.
And that connects to our geometry here in this reality, to above and beyond.
Well, yes, of course. It would make no sense for us to deliver information that didn't connect to the geometry of your particular reality experience.
I know some of them look very familiar, but some of them don't.
Yes. Well, these kinds of things have been used throughout the ages. When people get to a certain point in their evolution and start to realize that there are representative symbols of these underlying energy forms, then of course many of them may be familiar to you because they've existed before in different civilizations on your planet.
Now, when you first presented them, I did the exercises, and I can't say that I paid attention to them forever. You know, I think I worked with it a couple of months, and
that's all right. It's up to you.
Yes, and then I'm picking them back up now, and is there a special way to use them? Just have a focus?
Yes, there is a special way to use them. Your way.
Okay.
Let your imagination be your guide as to how to put them together, either using them individually or putting them together collectively in some kind of pattern that makes sense to you. Feel your way through it and see what stands out. That's the best advice I can give you. Feel what feels correct to you. Putting them together, rearranging them, you'll find the pattern that makes sense for you. So the best way is your way.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the connection today and the interaction.
As do we. We thank you. Good day.
Good day.